Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much for checking us out all the time. I appreciate you making your way here. You know the drill. If you dig what you're seeing, please do hit that subscribe button. Keep up with all the interviews that we put out every single week. It's 3 brand new ones a week. Great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I expect one of your favorite artists has got to be 303 because they are back again, and I'm so excited to have them today. How you guys doing?
They're back in black.
Guess who's back again?
We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us, man. It's a pleasure and an honor and a privilege.
That was pretty good impersonation you did there. Your voice, you could get up there for that.
What? Oh,
I can't even do it.
What's his name? Yeah, the Brian.
I think there's I feel like the challenge to see how much of this interview is going to be done in song today. I'm along for the ride. I am. So let's.
Hey, you know, that's kind of our whole process, man. So you might be along for the ride for writing a new 303 song. Who knows?
That's it. I'm it. I'll expect the royalties.
Hey, now we're getting a little.
Wait. Word for a third, right? That's all I gotta. That's all I gotta get.
Room splits, Zoom splits. What are Zoom splits?
Just the vibe guy.
Zoom probably gets part of it too.
Yeah, Zoom gets 10%.
That's it. No, it's so exciting to have you all back. You know, I know it's not been forever. I think it's pitched like, oh, the great comeback. It's only been like a handful of years here. But I guess that wasn't completely like always in the cards. So maybe we'll start a little bit back. Like, what has the last few years been like? What have you guys been doing that's kind of led up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with us, and as you sort of put it eloquently, it's like we were playing shows and playing college shows. We played for the U.S. Navy and military bases, and even just we've toured as well. But it's funny because we've had albums in between Streets of Gold. It was like Want Streets of Gold were sort of like our biggest albums. And then we had Omens and Night Sports was our last album that came out. And we would have like a new song that we might even go and play live. And, you know, we'd even play the song and then we get off stage and a fan would be like, so when are you putting out new music? Or
so
like,
wait, you guys are still alive? Yeah, you're dead, man.
Oh man. And like, so I think that you're right. Like it is sort of like coming back, but it's also like we've been around, but it's nice to have that feeling where like this seems to be striking a chord. The new songs seem to be hitting in a way that we might not have been able to get with some of the past releases. And it just feels like a return to form in more ways than one. We actually partnered with our original label mates, Photo Finish Records. That was who we put out Want with. And so it feels we have that same team and same sort of creative spirit. And
it's been nice to get the time to work on our own project too. I think, you know, you asked what we've been doing the last couple of years. It's been a lot of writing and producing for other artists as well as that touring that Sean mentioned. And I think that, you know, if anything, this time off of the road, kind of the enforced time off the road has allowed us to come back and work on our music, which has kind of been the blessing and the curse of this, you know, past pandemic time, at least for us, is just providing us with a time to reflect on why we're doing what we're doing in terms of our music as 303, and to come back and circle back and really feel comfortable in finding that kind of mantra again and creating new music.
Yeah, the writing and producing, it looks like it's been a lucrative part of your careers and everything. And I'm sure that does have its own creativity, but do you feel maybe as you're alluding to right here, like, do you feel during that that's not working every muscle, right? Is there something missing with that?
I mean, I think the balance of them both, at least in my experience, is so beautiful because, you know, writing for other projects or, you know, even pop artists or hip hop projects or, you know, even kind of music for film or television or video games, it's much more speculative in its nature, I've found, than working on your own stuff. You're kind of writing a lot to release a fraction of what you write. And whereas, you know, with our own artistry, there's so much more of a tangent between writing what we want to write and releasing what we want to release. So I mean, those things, they each come with their own kind of frustrations and difficulties, but they also each kind of counterbalance themselves perfectly in terms of being creatively fulfilled, I find.
Yeah. You kind of alluded to this a minute ago about, you know, heading back to the same team that you all had with Once. From what I understand, the way you guys have been talking about this, that's not the only connection, though. I mean, there's something about this new record with Need that sort of, I mean, not even just the titles. I mean, Once and Need, obviously, they speak to each other, but how much of this new record is speaking to your past?
It's just really the titles. We just really wanted to connect those two. We really had to hammer people over the head to be like, it's fully connected. Yeah, I think honestly, it's the spirit of how it's made. I think I think in this business, and especially even just as artists and creatives, it's like I think the battle is just continue to show up, like always showing up. You don't know what you're gonna get in different environments, and obviously we've kind of had different scenarios when we've gone into different records. Like we photo finish moved off Atlantic when we were there, so we were kind of positioned with a new team, and there was like different expectations on ourselves, and that was when we were jumping into songwriting. So we were a little we had our minds were a little like melted by that process, and like there was just a lot. And I think with this we just feel a lot more comfortable with where we are as songwriters, producers, and then also just like having fun in the studio and not overthinking things, realizing that sometimes our first decision is the best one, and not to like just sort of tear down the original idea and just sort of make music to make music. And that's where we've come to, I think. And it just feels good. It feels good again, and having that team is very important too. I think that's an undervalued part of the process, is because like Nat and I could be in a basement creating, but sometimes you need that creative sort of echo chamber with friends and family that you feel comfortable with, and not just sort of like on your own or with someone who has an expectation of trying to just get money or stuff like that. They see the whole picture. So that's why I think it feels sort of akin to when we started, although at that point we knew nothing like about, we didn't even know, like we were talking about this, like Nat didn't know what a single was. He thought it was like a cheaper record.
Just a cheap, if you didn't want to buy the full record, you would just buy the single.
So it's a little different. We probably know too much now.
We call that blissfully ignorant.
Yeah.
It's a good spot though. I mean, you like, I think young artists, you have to be blissfully ignorant if you're gonna do some of those creative things that you might be afraid of later on. Like I think about artists who are younger, vocally, you'll take some chances that you don't think about, will I be able to do that when I'm 50? Or stuff like that.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you
That's
hear
true.
like I mean, even we find that like we'll go back and sing like our old songs, and I'm like, can we like drop the key, or can I sing this like, why was I trying to sing so high? But again, you're not thinking about those things. You're not thinking the sustainability of a whole tour of what it would mean to sing that pitch every time. You're just like, rock and roll, baby.
Just want to dance. Maybe that's why AC/DC, the dude, homie.
You think he ever regrets singing that?
No, he loves it every night. Every night it's a party.
I know I'm not the first one to ask this, but I'll go into the more serious territory for a second, because I think that also speaks to some of your older songs. They're fun songs, but you have a song like "Don't Trust Me," huge hits. But I'm guessing, I mean, is that something that you would write now? Like, do you have to kind of meet in the middle with your younger selves for a song like that?
Yeah, I think you as an artist, you always progress, and you wouldn't do anything the same as you did in the past, and you kind of keep rocking. I think what we're excited about is on this record, just kind of overtly coming back to some of those old styles that we used to play with, and that was music that was really, like Sean said, it wasn't second guessed at all, and sonically it was it's a little rougher around the edges and stuff. And I think that kind of combining that with the craft of songwriting that we feel like we've learned so much from, because working with other artists and other songwriters, other producers, you really kind of are always absorbing savvy and know-how and different ways of doing something and different ways of creative expression, really. And so I think we're really excited to kind of mesh both those worlds and kind of showcase what we've learned, and also kind of do due diligence to the OG thing that we think of as 303, and why, like, kind of our raison d'être. And that's like just
what was that?
Raison d'être. our mantra.
Bless you.
There you go. No, I think and that's really just to make music to bring people in, and to be inclusive with our videos, our live shows, our recorded music. It's all about rocking a party and bringing people in and making them included, whether that's putting a smile on their face or making them dance or making them laugh or making them cry, how bad our music is. But no, I think it's we're looking forward to progressively releasing that music, and so far the reception has been awesome.
It's interesting because that was another thing. Like, I think 303, there are some expectations musically of lyrically even, from the songs in the past. Like you expect sort of some dirty jokes and some cuss words, and like, do you find that, when you're writing though, that you lean into those expectations at all? You're like, you know what we had, or does that, I don't know, does that come naturally? Is that just who you are?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think there have been times, like I said, where it's been like we've sort of been in our heads about expectations and what someone might think 303 is supposed to be, or I think now though, it's like, we've progressed a lot in terms of the scene, music scene, the world, everything's progressed in a different way since 11 years ago. And we have too, as artists and as people. And I think our spirit of making our songs remains the same, which is like Nat said, which is inclusive and fun and on the edge, but it's where we are now. And it's what, like our songs, Lonely Machines and I'm So Sad, I think show that, because it's exactly where we want to be right now with our style and whatever people might say, or like our lyrics or our sense of humor. And I think it's layers of a lot of that, but those songs are just good representations of where we want to be and what we're doing and pushing right now. So yeah, we're happy to be at the spot we are creatively, I think.
Yeah. Well, push further into that then. Like, what are the things that you're wanting to say this time around, or what are the things that you did end up saying around this time around?
I think a lot of that comes like it's like 50-50 hindsight. Like you're like, oh, that I gleaned that out of it. Like when we're in the process, a lot of times, like we said, like it's not about too much overthinking. I think Lonely Machines is a really good example of that. That's why it feels like really akin to how we did early songs, where it was just like part by part, and it wasn't necessarily like honestly, I think Nat gave me a microphone as he was creating that beat in the studio, and I was just like literally making the lyrics up like on the cuff, like saying like,
there's a section of that song where Sean's at the outro, as Sean is screaming, and I remember, I think we kind of, this stays between us obviously, but I think that
listeners, please turn down the volume real fast.
We had to like transcribe the lyrics
backwards.
Backwards, like try to figure out what he was screaming about. And
that's the take actually that's on the song, is the one that I just literally screamed just like, like primally, just like yelling these lyrics. And then we had to listen. I was like, I don't know really what I said, and then we like unpacked it and we're like, oh, that's very interesting.
And I think, a song like I'm So Sad that we just put out, I think it's again there, I think it's trying to figure out what we do and why we do it. And I think that song, is addressing something that's serious and heavy in a way that is trying to be fun and a bit tongue-in-cheek about these issues that, hopefully allow people to either have fun with the song and or, draw something in terms of their own lives and their own experiences that they've had with being sad. And I think that, for us, it's about that collective stuff, and it's about being very serious about our music and creating our music, and also really never being afraid about having fun during that process. And to us, those things don't operate on different playing fields really. To us, we're we feel comfortable walking that line and for lack of a better word, like playing with our art, even if we're very serious about the art.
Yeah, that song right there with I'm So Sad, I mean, do I understand it right? That sort of leans into the like Boys Don't Cry lineage of songs.
I think at the moment, again, that was another sort of like guttural, just yell into the microphone as Nat was playing that riff. And we were working with our friend and producer, songwriter Benny Blanco. We were just at his house, and Nat was just playing this riff. And I was like, you know what? There's so many songs that feel sad or don't even overtly say it. Like I think of like Elliott Smith or just like, like just sad songs, melodramatic, minor key songs. I'm just like, it is sort of that feeling where it's like, it's okay to not be okay and not to really fight these feelings. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels good to announce it and not fight it, and we even have that lyric in the song, like, it's not so bad if I don't try to fight it back. And it's true. And it's also, it can be kind of funny, and I think it can also be kind of like we said, like party sad. Like we have how many songs do we have that are like Nat and I were in that sphere of like songwriting when it was just like Pitbull and Flow Rider that was like, I feel so good tonight is
Right.
gonna be the
Hands
best, and
up
you
in
were
the
in the
air.
studio and you were just like,
Yep.
but I don't really feel that way today. Why am I trying to say that? So that's sort of the aim, I think, if I'm putting it down into like what we're trying to do lyrically with that. But
Yeah, you flipped the inspirational anthem because I agree. There was everything was fireworks for the longest time. Everything was whoa oh oh, and this sort of does takes because it's still an anthem. There's still a big joyous moment, but it really does kind of flip that. It's a
Yeah, and I think recently there have been a lot of, you know, in the pop sphere, I guess there have been a lot of songs that are kind of reveling in that sadness, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you know, Sean said one of our favorite artists is Elliott Smith, and it's like there's nothing more beautiful than some of his songs that are really reveling in that sadness. But I think we also were interested in the idea of spinning that the different way, like Sean said, partying sad, or finding a way to treat that sadness with a sense of humor and approach it differently and walk those lines, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a lonely year. It's been the loneliest year, you know.
That's to put it lightly. I spent like 2 weeks doing a claymation for one of our videos just by myself, like literally befriending my clay armatures. So yes, I know how lonely it can be.
Well, it's a perfect time because that's, you know, when we're sad, it's not like when I'm sad, like most people, I don't listen to happy music when I'm sad. I want to hear sad music when I'm sad. When I'm lonely, I guess I want to hear lonely music. I mean, unfortunately, it couldn't be a better timed song in that way.
Yeah, I want to hear sad music when I'm happy too, and then the sad music makes me sad. So I don't know what that says about the modern condition.
God, when I got the Spotify year-end report, I'm like, if this isn't like just a cry for help, the songs that are down, they're all just incredibly sad. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the conversation is especially geared, you know, towards mental health, and it's open to conversation. I mean, I know among my friends and even fans, and again, it's not self-indulging, although I'm sure that it could be taken that way. But I just think, again, it's just a balance there. Like, how many songs can we have in the world that are about? It's almost like the Instagram sort of like facade of like people always having the best life and like showing their best selves. Like I think the pop music has been that way for a long time too, and it's like, let's be realistic. Like how many times have you been out at a bar and you still feel really lonely or sad? And it's like, how about an anthem for the
I
sad
haven't been
ones?
to a bar in like a year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, please don't be at a bar now, but yeah.
Not in a long time. Let's can we dissect one of the lines in this too? One of the songs with the "I'm a middle-aged cliche," because how much of that was just you know, spewing
That
out
was
words
just-
out there.
Yeah, I mean, we're both like under 25, so that was more of like
that was
just
more like
trying to.
situational writing. No, I mean, I think it's a sense of, you know, we've always tried to carry ourselves with a sense of not too much of an ego and
Self-deprecation.
yes, and especially self-deprecating sense of humor for our operation and ourselves individually, I think, in our lives. And you know, we're getting closer to that middle age than we are the teens for sure. And I think that it's kind of funny to talk about yourself as a middle-aged cliche.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's a line in the songs that's like, we should probably have some kids by now. Yeah, I mean, judging by our parents that generation, we should for sure have kids by now, you know.
yeah, it's
We don't.
you can try and avoid it all you want as you get older to be like, I'm still gonna be the coolest guy. I'm literally wearing Crocs right now.
And that's a
So
shout out
It's
to Boulder,
Crocs and
Colorado.
socks, right? That's
Crocs and socks. So
Crocs
you
and
just
socks.
kind of, it just becomes you know, like you just the dad style.
Yeah, we're not dads, but we lean into the dad style now.
Yeah.
That's that middle-aged cliche. Like,
Dad strong over here, so I can appreciate
Yeah, there you
that
go.
quite a bit. Relate to that. But like I'd wondered also that like being a band who brings the good times, bring a band who brings the party. I mean, I'd wondered like there's a part of that that's sort of the forethought of aging gracefully as an artist. Like how do you do it? I mean, people try to Mick Jagger's probably still trying to figure out how to do that. You know,
Sure.
It's like how much of that kind of goes into it.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there again, I think it's like, you know, you evolve as an artist. Like, I guess we're not going to talk about some of the things that we talked about in terms of the way in which we partied, like whether it's like, you know, going to clubs. We don't really go to clubs anymore. And even back in the day, we had a song called F the Club. So
I belong to the chess club when it's
nice.
open in Pasadena, but that's
Nice,
it. Yeah.
nice. No, but I think, you know, you just evolve. And I think, as we mentioned earlier, we don't have too much of an ego, and feel comfortable leaning into whatever we become as people and however that reflects in our music. And I think the guiding light for us is kind of feeling like we're satisfied with what we're creating and feeling like our closest friends and family are stoked on it. And then from that, you know, hoping it extrapolates to a bigger audience and they enjoy it too. And I think that, you know, if anything, if we can be honest and faithful with ourselves in terms of like, if we're having fun with it and if it's worthwhile, and that, I don't know, it's a big kind of overarching answer to a very complicated question. But I think that's, you know, we're just trying to trust the gut and have some hubris and like just be honest.
Plus, we've gotten like a lot of work done on our faces, a lot of Botox, and we do a lot. I mean, honestly, TikTok is kind of like the true test of if you're aging gracefully, because it's like we're like, do we go on there and like do these dances that like, you know, like just in like the Sway House? Like I know way too much about TikTok actually to even talk about, but it's an interesting thing. We just want to stay genuine, like to what, you know, we are. And it's no secret. I mean, like I went fully gray on my hair like 4 years ago, probably from
I thought you
touring.
dye. You don't dye it?
I mean, it is hip. That's cool. Like I actually see in LA, like there's like 18-year-olds with their hair dyed gray. They're like, cool hair, dude. And I was like, this is what years of stress do to you. It's like, you could do it too, kid. Just yeah, so I don't know. Musician. I mean, we all do it. We all age.
Sure.
So I mean, we're happy to just even still be making music and playing shows. So that's enough for us when we can play shows.
Yeah, right. It is fun. I mean, what you all do, you do continue to you know, make the whole experience fun. I'm noticing the green screen behind you, and I'm just kind of remembering the video, of course, that we just saw too, because there's we talk about the calling back the album with Want and Need and all that and looking back, but this is really a callback to another time. And I thought this makes sense because the 20-year period has come around. It seems like you're reaching back to the time, like we just went through the 90s resurgence. Are we ready now for the mid 2000s resurgence?
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, especially to be a band that was, you know, kind of knowingly and unknowingly swept up in that scene, kind of the emo and Warped Tour scene, you know. And I think that a lot of those bands have seen a resurgence, and for us, it's amazing. For us, you know, we've had the good fortune to be able to be touring kind of constantly the whole time, releasing music the whole time, and for us, it's just amazing because it's what we love to do, and you know, we're not going to stop doing it until a global pandemic doesn't allow us to, and then we're going to stop. No, I think we're excited.
Sorry,
it's okay.
We're delighted that out.
We're just excited and delighted to be able to keep releasing music and to get back on the road when it's safe and responsible to do so.
I just love like we have fans that will, you know, comment on whatever, Instagram or whatever, and they'll be like, saw you when I was 12, Warped Tour. It was life-changing to be out there, like see you guys perform. I'm now a heart surgeon, and I'm like, what? How many years have passed? It doesn't seem like that long. It's like,
what have we done with our lives? You're a heart surgeon. We're over here just.
I blast Want when I go in for I'm like, don't do that. That can't be good.
Oh man. Well, you know, we're of course looking forward to the rest of the record. What else do we? I mean, more special guests? Are there more special guests a part of this?
Yeah, we're still wrapping up the record. Still figuring out a couple kind of features that we're excited about. We'll be releasing some new music progressively throughout the year, leading up to the album Need coming out.
There's a feature on here that I don't think if we sat here for an hour that you could guess who it is, but it's going to be dope. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, we're excited, and you know,
Dolly Parton is the only guess I'm going to have. So if it's not her, then you know,
I wish.
It's the Dolly Parton of a different genre.
It's not her, then you're gonna get the single, not the full record. No, we're excited, and we're doing Cameo for charity. If people are interested in getting a Cameo stuff, we're raising money for the Sierra Club. We just got on this application called High Note. That's like kind of a personalized performance thing. And so, in the meantime, you know, we're planning some. Something special for 303 Day out here. March 3rd is kind of the Colorado.
And we got merch up. Yeah, we got merch up at our website, 303.com, 30h3.com.
Because our old site became a porn site, apparently.
Yeah, don't go to
forgot.
303 Music unless you want to. It's adult only site now. It has nothing to do with us.
We
don't
just
make
let the
any-
registration lapse, and apparently some.
You guys could have made so much more money had you actually just lean into that one yourselves. So
I know.
What do you think the green screen's for, man? All right, well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. Congrats on this new music and everything. It's really fun to hear from you.
We're so delighted, and thanks for your kind questions, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
All right, we'll see you around. Take care.
Bye-bye.